Hey there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. I'm your host, Pattsun, and today we're gonna be taking a look at r/divorce, where OP's ex-wife is now angry because OP replaced her. Let's begin. My ex-husband is too traumatized to get back together with me. Posted by Reddit user Luna Booney.
Phew, what a title, right? Before I get into the meat and potatoes of the story, I need to give you some context first. The way marriage works in our culture is very similar to some Indian cultures, and this is a very important thing to keep in mind. Right now we are in something called a settlement, where we are given 3 months to decide if we want each other, and if we don't, then we separate. When we first got married, I moved into his family's house. His family never liked me when we were dating, and they never liked me. When I was married to their son, our marriage lasted for 7 months before they kicked me out of the house and sent me back home to my family. There are small details that I'll mention quickly. During the time of me getting kicked out, they manipulated my husband against me. Me and him ran away together and told our families that we want to be together. His family was now kicking him out of the house and sending him on a plane with me to my family. Then they tricked him for him to come home and pick up his passport and suitcase, and they manipulated him again, and I ended up leaving on a plane by myself. My husband promised me that I will only be home for a month, and then he will come and get me. His family immediately started to manipulate him against me, and they broke him mentally. He would cry, scream, break down the house to his family for me to come home, and they kept telling him no, and they kept threatening him with the fact that he would get kicked out and most likely disowned if he comes back to me. They also told him the only way it would work is if he leaves his family and comes to me and my family. So that's the context that you need to know about the situation. Right now I am 2 months into the settlement, and we have 1 month left before we are officially divorced. Me and my husband are on talking terms, but very secretive, and he is terrified of his family finding out that we still talk. Last night I brought up a plan to him for us to talk secretly and try our relationship again. He instantly had a panic attack and started crying.
Weakness of any kind completely revolts me.
Because the thought of trying again with me scared him so much because of what his family did to him, which absolutely broke my heart. He's so scared to the point that he doesn't even know if he wants me or not, because he knows that if he wants to try again, there's so much struggle that he has to face, and he isn't mentally or emotionally prepared to have the risk of fighting with his family for his wife. He's so terrified that he'd rather let me go and never talk to me again, no matter how much we still love each other, than to try again. His family mentally abused him, traumatized him, and broke him just so he doesn't get his wife back because they don't like me. I apologize to him for pushing him, and as far as I know, we're still okay with each other. I know he needs a lot more time before he can even make any type of decision, so I was going to stick around with him, help him heal, and then at the end of this year suggest to him if he wants to try again. Some background about me and him: he is 24, I'm 22. I've known him for 2 years in total, and we have been married 7 months out of those 2 years. I don't want to lose him. I don't want to be hurt by him, and I don't want to hurt him. I love him more than anything in the entire world, and I just want a chance for us to try again. So please, I really need advice, or if you have any questions, I'm an open book. I'll happily give you more context, but I need help. I want my husband back. TLDR, my husband's family hates me and broke up our marriage. They traumatized him to the point that he's too scared to even think about trying us again.
OP, your ex-husband sounds like a pathetically weak man to be bullied to that point. Look, it's never going to work out if your spouse's family hates you. He either needs to cut them off entirely and choose you, or choose his family and cut you out of his life. But I highly doubt he has the balls to do either of them. I'm sorry, but you need to give up. He is not ready to be married. OP, his family doesn't appreciate you, and I highly doubt they ever will. Why would you want that for yourself? You're still very young. You can definitely do better. Good luck, OP. And now for today's second story. My ex-wife wants to be let back into our daughter's life after almost 3 years of no contact. Posted by Reddit user Right Weather.
This is going to be a long one, admittedly. It's a very complicated situation. I posted about the initial divorce in another subreddit some years ago, but can't remember which one. For the history, I'm chronically ill. My wife knew this before we married, said she could handle it, and so we started a family. It quickly became obvious she couldn't, and was resentful about how much of her life revolved around my illness and our daughter. She became a workaholic to get away from time at home and took a promotion that would have involved moving. and tried to make it seem like it was a decision to discuss and think about without telling me she'd already accepted it and made up her mind. I refused because we had family support here and I didn't want to have to go through getting new doctors and all the stress and accommodations it would require for me to move. When she admitted she'd already accepted it, I filed for divorce. She didn't want to get divorced and kept trying to convince me to go with her, but I didn't trust her anymore, especially after she admitted she resented having our daughter and refused to get counseling, saying a fresh start would fix everything. She left for her job, signed away her rights to avoid child support, and slowly contacted me and our daughter less and less, until months with nothing was the norm. Now, years later, I'm a stay-at-home dad with a wonderful partner who loves my daughter like his own and is looking into adopting her. My ex's family is still supportive and involved with my daughter and helping with my medical needs. From what I understand, most also fell out with my ex and cut contact after everything at different points. Recently, my ex called me out of the blue. She wants to fly us out and spend a weekend with our daughter and be in her life. She said she felt pressured by her family to fully cut contact because they guilted her for not being around and was angry about the divorce. She talked about how she makes a lot of money now and can afford long-distance trips back and forth for our daughter between our houses and talk about regaining her parental rights over time. She was also passive-aggressive about the fact that I replaced her so quickly and accused my partner of swooping in after she left. It was phrased like a joke, but it was obvious she's bitter about this. For context and transparency, my boyfriend is her aunt's foster son and her former best friend who stopped talking to her after she left. He moved in to help take care of my daughter when I was still working, and it was over a year before we even considered anything romantic between each other. I'd never even thought about dating men prior. I'm so skeptical about letting her in our daughter's life again. Our daughter barely even remembers her and still is in counseling to deal with her abandonment issues. I can't imagine what getting to know my ex and then getting left again, if she decides she's changed her mind, would do. She finally has a loving and stable second parent in my boyfriend, and I feel like this would just upset everything. But part of me thinks my ex has a right to try and be in her daughter's life. I'm not looking for easy answers, just perspectives and people's thoughts, so maybe I can think about this clearly. What do people think the best thing for my family would be? TLDR, my ex-wife wants to come back into our daughter's life after leaving for her career and dropping contact. I'm incredibly skeptical because of how she's dealt with the responsibility in the past, and that she seems to be passive-aggressively showing resentment about my current partner, who is my daughter's stable second parent figure.
OP, you need to speak to your daughter's counselor about how this will affect your daughter. If the counselor thinks it will be good, then go forward if you want to. But before you do, I just want you to remember something. You said that she signed away her rights so she doesn't have to pay child support. I don't know about you, but that doesn't exactly scream a loving and caring mother to me. That's the least she could have done after she just selfishly left to pursue her career. She's a terrible human being, OP, and I highly suggest not letting your daughter meet such a person. Good luck. Viewer support is the best way for me to remain independent and continue bringing you these daily videos, which will always be here on my channels for you to watch absolutely free. So please consider subscribing to me on Rumble and on YouTube. Both will be linked in the description box down below. Thanks for listening, everyone. If you even somewhat enjoyed today's story, make sure to give this video a thumbs up, and if you really like it, consider subscribing to PattSun to never miss a future upload. Stay strong.